Straight all day.
Congratulate yourself on tuning into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you to use those of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves you to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Putting all this together, what you get is the mindset, the method, the philosophy, the book, the show known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is let dumb people be dumb. Or you could take out dumb, you could call them idiots, you could call them stupid, useless, losers, whatever you want to call those people, clowns, whatever you assholes, jerks, let those people be who they are. All right, that's the topic here today. I was actually listening to Anna on a phone conversation not too long ago. She was talking to some customer service representative, and it was clear that the guy who she was talking to, I think we were in the car when she was talking to him, it was clear that this guy was not able to understand what she was asking. She was asking a certain question, and she kept repeating the question and saying it over and saying it in different ways. And it was clear from her responses what she was saying to the guy, and I could tell by her energy that the guy really wasn't getting it. He wasn't. It wasn't going anywhere. But she kept trying to rephrase, and then it almost seemed like they were kind of debating and arguing with each other a little bit. And I finally said to her, like, "Yo, just stop talking to the guy. Stop going back and forth with him. Stop arguing with him. Either just hang up and call back to the same number, and a different rep will answer the phone, and they can solve your problem, or you could just ask for a supervisor, and they have to put somebody else on the phone." So she didn't ask for a supervisor. The supervisor came on the phone, and they got the problem resolved. And within 2 minutes, the whole thing was done. Today is about letting dumb people, whether that person be, again, useless to you in a certain situation, whether you think they're just an idiot, or you think they're a hater, and dumb is a relative term. All right, so whatever, any one of those terms that I mentioned earlier that you want to use to describe people that you just don't jive with, they just, for whatever reason, they're not moving on the same wavelength as you. They don't think the same way as you. They're not as smart as you. They're not as good as you. They're not as useful as you. They have no contribution to make the way that you do. Whatever way you want to describe those people, today is about letting them be who they are and not allowing yourself to get tangled up in their web of foolishness. And this is not about, I want to be clear before we get into our points, that this is not about them. Right, this is not about what they're doing or what they're saying or how they are messing up. This is about what you need to do once you realize who these people are. Because in the world that we're in now, a lot of us waste, maybe not you, but a lot of humans I'm talking about, waste a lot of resources on people that they have decided are dumb. You know, there are people out there who might think you're dumb, right? But then they waste resources talking about you, engaging with you, arguing with you, dissing you, trying to change your mind, trying to change your ways of being, and it's not working, but they keep wasting their resources on it. And you may be doing the same thing. You may be, maybe you directly, literally done the same thing that her and are doing, arguing with a customer service rep who obviously is not able to help, whether they were trying to be non-helpful or whether they just were incompetent and they couldn't solve the situation. Once you realize that, you got to be smart enough to know what to do. And today we're going to talk about exactly what you do once you realize you're dealing with that type of individual. Point number one, today's topic once again is let dumb people be dumb. Or maybe we'll call it let stupid people be stupid. We'll see. Number one, while we all strive to make fewer assumptions about people, I try to be very vigilant about not making too many assumptions about people, about not applying any stereotypes that I may have learned or that I may have developed from my past experiences to anyone who I meet is new. I try to give every person that I meet and every situation I come into as fresh of a slate as possible. But that is, we can't give everybody a 100% fresh slate. It's impossible for us as human beings to do that because we're human. So none of us is going to be perfect enough to give everybody a perfectly clean slate. But we try to catch yourself when you have those stereotypes in your mind and you have these preconceived notions of people. I try to catch myself as much as I can, and I'm sure you do as well, giving you the benefit of that. While we strive to do this, we are also on the clock at the same time. On the clock meaning life is short. And life is long in many ways, but life is also short in that you're probably going to be dead for a much longer period than you're going to be alive. So we only have a certain amount of time here on this planet to do whatever it is we want to do or whatever we're going to do. Thusly, we do not have time to wait for everybody else to catch up to us. There are sometimes that you're going to be moving at a certain speed and the people around you are not able to move at that speed, or are not willing to move at that speed, or for whatever reason, they're just not doing it. You can't wait for everybody. You can't save everybody. You can't pull everybody up with you. So what you need to do, understanding this, is once you see that a person can't help your cause, they can't help your team, they're not going to be able to work for you for whatever reason you were interacting with them, what you thought you could get in dealing with this person, as soon as you realize that what you thought you could get in dealing with them, you're not going to be able to get from dealing with them, your obligation is to move on. This is what we talked about in episode number 1349, learning how to move on in life. Moving on can be something that is over a long period of time. It can be something that happens really quickly. As soon as you realize this customer service rep from the phone company or the pizza shop or the furniture place is not able to help you, just hang up the phone, call back, get somebody else on the phone. Do not waste your resources dealing with this person, trying to change them, trying to educate them, trying to enlighten them. All right, we all know you're brilliant, but there are many times in life where you must spare the world your brilliance and move on. Don't waste time trying to teach. Don't teach to people who don't want to learn. All right, don't preach. You do not preach to people who didn't show up to church. Okay, you preach to the choir. Preaching to the choir is a good thing. It's a smart thing. That's what wise people do. While you may have the urge at times, and maybe more often than maybe other people do, you may have this urge to want to help people, or at least what you think is helping them. You want to educate people in some way. You want to give people a piece of your mind. You want to tell people the things that they need to know. You want to tell them about themselves. You want to tell them what they need to be doing, because they're obviously not doing it. They obviously don't know their job as well as they should, and you know it better than them. While I understand you may have this urge, you may have this impulse, and many times in life, you can't always do this. Well, actually, you can, but you probably should not. All right, that's my advice to you. You cannot save everybody. This is the topic of episode number 855. You never heard it. Episode 855. You can't save everybody. And also the topic actually 855 is not everybody's going to make it. Everybody ain't making it. Even if you try to help everybody make it, even if you try to educate everybody on what they need to do to make it, even if you let everybody know, look, not everybody's going to make it, so everybody's got to work hard so we can make sure everybody gets there, everybody ain't going to make it. Why? Because everybody don't want to make it. Everybody's not looking for the same thing. Everybody's not had the same goals. Not everyone wants to have the intelligence that you have, the knowledge that you have, the skills that you have. They don't have the goals that you have. And it is not your job to make them want it. It is your job to deal with the people who do want it, and y'all run together. It's not your job to get somebody who don't want to run and try to force them into running. All right, and that's what a lot of people do in life, metaphorically speaking. You see someone who is just not on the same wavelength as you, but instead of recognizing it and moving on to go find the right people, you decide to stay there and argue with them, try to change their mind, chastise them, beat them down as best you can verbally, maybe even physically, hopefully not, that'd be a crime, or doing these things to just try to prove your point for whatever reason, because it serves our egos to be able to do this, to tell somebody off, to let somebody know how incompetent they are, how dumb they are, how bad of an idea this is, the thing that they're doing. But understand, to them, it's a great idea. You may think a person is dumb. To them, they're smart. You may think a person is going nowhere. To them, they're exactly where they want to be. That's why they don't want to go anywhere. They're good where they're at. It is not your job to change other people's minds. It's not your job to change another person's nature. It is your job to change the people who want to be changed and leave alone the people who don't. And if you don't do that, then you become the fool. So when you're there arguing with some peasant that you believe is not on the same level as you mentally, as soon as you start arguing, as soon as you realize that they're a peasant and that they're not on the level that you're on, but then you keep arguing with them, you become the fool. Now you're the stupid person. Why? Because you recognize that this is not going anywhere, yet you won't leave. So they're not the fool. They are exactly where they want to be. You're the one who's in the wrong place at this point. Now who's the dummy? Point number 2. Today's topic is let dumb people be dumb, or maybe we'll call it let stupid people be stupid. We'll see. Point number 2, do not force feed knowledge on the willfully ignorant. That's a great statement right there. It sounds like it came out of like some old religious text, right? And one day that's exactly what this will be. Let me say it one more time. Do not force feed knowledge on the willfully ignorant. The definition of ignorance is not to know. So ignorant is not necessarily a negative thing. People use it that way, but that's not really what it means. To be ignorant just means you are lacking some information. There are some things that you don't know about certain topics. Listen, I'm very smart in some areas and I'm very ignorant in other areas. And there's some areas I'm okay with being ignorant because I don't have the resources to dedicate to not being ignorant. I'm okay with not knowing about certain things. And there are certain things I want to know a lot about. We all got to make those choices in life. When you come across someone who is willfully ignorant in a certain area, meaning willfully ignorant, all right, there's a difference between being ignorant by nature and being ignorant by choice. All right. Ignorant by nature means you don't know, but you would like to know. If someone offered you the information, you would happily take it in and do something with it. Willfully ignorant by choice means you don't know about something and you're not trying to know. You're not trying to learn. You're not trying to get that information. You are not trying to glean that knowledge. You are not trying to add that into your skill set or under your resume of experience. Some people are just willfully ignorant in certain areas of life, and it is not your job to change their mind about it. Some people are ignorant by, as I said, nature. They don't know things and they're unaware of their ignorance. They don't know what they don't know. Now you can help those people out because some of them will hear what you're saying once they realize, like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm ignorant in this area, but this person is knowledgeable. Let me listen to them. There are some people who will hear you and say, all right, I want to keep listening to that person. Let me subscribe to them. Let me follow them. Let me buy from them. Let me, whatever it is you're offering, let me engage with that. And there's some people who don't know, who are going to hear you sharing knowledge and they're going to say, you know what, I'm not interested. I don't want to get smarter. I don't want that information. I don't want that knowledge. It is not your job to hunt them down and make them want your knowledge because they're not interested. That's just the way that it goes. Help out the people who want to listen. There are other people out there, as I just explained, who are willfully ignorant. They don't know shit and they don't want to learn shit. And that's all right. Leave them where they are. Episode 1283 is you can't save everybody. 883 is not everybody's going to make it. 1283 is you can't save everybody. This is what we call preaching to the choir, right? Talking to the people who want to be heard from. Preaching to the choir is not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when somebody says something or they're making some point to an audience of people who agree with them, people say, well, that person's preaching to the choir, as if that's a bad thing, as if they're wasting their time. You're talking to the people who are already converted. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to talk to the people who already agree. You're supposed to talk to the people who are already converted. You're supposed to sell to the buyers. Do not sell things to people who don't have money or who don't want to spend it. Sell things to people who have money and they're willing to spend it on what you have to offer. All right, that's how you make sales. You cannot sell something to somebody who ain't trying to buy it. Okay, don't preach to people who ain't coming to church. All right, the preacher, the reverend, any of you who goes to the church or any religious place of worship, who do they save their sermons for? They don't be standing on a corner preaching a sermon. They go to the synagogue or the church or the hall or whatever the names of the places are that y'all go to. They go there and preach. Why? Because there's a choir there. There's an audience there. There are people there who know exactly what they're going to get and they're willing to listen to it. Any of you who practices a certain religion and you go to your place of worship on a regular basis, you have probably, I'm going to venture to guess that you've probably heard the exact same sermon, the exact same speech more than one time from the person who leads that congregation. True or not? You probably have. I'm pretty sure you have. But you keep showing up anyway. And the second time you hear it, you're just as happy to hear it as you were the first time you heard it. Why? Because you're part of the choir, so to speak, that's being preached to. You showed up there knowing what you were going to get and you're happy to get it. I'll tell you the story. When I was growing up, this is when I was in my teens, there was me and a few of my friends, we used to always hang out on this corner right across the street from my house. And there was this guy who lived on this street who was around our age, probably a little bit older than us. I can't remember the dude's name. I think his name was Andrew. I don't necessarily remember. It's not important what his name was. And he and his, girlfriend, wife, they were relatively young. We were, let's say, 16, 17, 18 years old at this time. This guy was probably in his early 20s, maybe 22, 23, something like that. Him and his girlfriend. Now, me and my friends, we would be maybe 5 or 6 of us, all male, standing out in the corner, talking about something, talking about where we're going to go that night, hanging out, going to the store, doing whatever 16 to 18-year-olds did back then in the late 90s. This is before we had smartphones, because we had to actually come outside to deal with people. This guy, every time we seen him, we didn't see him that often. He'd come around maybe every 2 weeks. We see this guy. He would be coming out of his house because he lived on the block on which we stood on the corner. He would come out of his house, and I guess he was on his way somewhere. Maybe going to the bus stop. Maybe him and his girl were going to the grocery store. Maybe they're about to get in their car. Maybe they were about to go the other direction. But when he would see us, he always made a point to come over to us, and he would talk to us. Now, let me tell you what he was talking about. This guy was a zealous Christian. Very zealous Christian. I would say maybe even overzealous Christian this guy was. And the reason why I say that is not because I ever saw him in church, not because I ever heard him give a sermon, is because every time he saw us, this dude would come over to us and he would open his conversation with the same question every time. Hey, how are you? Have you given your, I can't even remember the exact wording he would use, but something along the lines of, have you dedicated your life to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? And he would ask the question with this sly, bitch ass smirk on his face that was really annoying. And because he knew exactly how the conversation was going to go. He knew exactly what was going to happen every single time. He knew if he asked the question, we were going to say, I remember he would ask me the question, I would say, no, I have not. And then he would say, well, why not? And then this would lead into this whole conversation. And this dude was one of those guys who just loved to go back and forth with people. He would stand there and debate with you. I remember one of my friends and me, it was probably 4 or 5 of us that used to always be out there. I guarantee this dude, this overzealous Christian guy, he did this with each one of us at least one time in the time that I would see him. And this is the thing that I'm going to say. He would ask the question, have you given your life to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? And we would say something in the negative. No, I haven't done that. He would say why. And they would just start this whole back and forth conversation. And this dude would debate with you all day. He would stand there and it would basically become an argument between one of us and him over why we hadn't done what he wanted us to do, why we hadn't dedicated our lives to Christianity and all this stuff. And he would literally stand there for 45 minutes or an hour and just argue with you about why you needed to dedicate your life to Christianity. And we would argue back with him about why we weren't interested in doing it that way. And when he would leave, we would talk about this. We were only in our teens. We would talk about it like, dude, like, yo, why is he coming over to us trying to convert us in this way? We already don't really like this dude. Every time we see him, we're rolling our eyes like, oh shit, here we go again. He's going to come over here with this bullshit. He's not going to leave us alone until he's satisfied that he's gotten his point across, or that he has annoyed us enough that he can feel satisfied that he did something today. Like, this dude needs to go, like, this dude needs to get a fucking life. Now, if I had better verbal skills then that I have now, I would have told him what I'm explaining to you right here. The reason why he was an idiot is not because he was wrong to try to convert people. Maybe he thought that was his mission in life. Go find people who have not really bought into Christianity and get them to buy into Christianity. I get it. There are some people out there who may be interested in that. And maybe they're open-minded enough that when they hear it, they're going to be like, okay, you know what? As I just explained in point number 1, sometimes people are ignorant by nature. They just don't know what they don't know. And when you expose them to the right information, they'll be interested in it. But he exposed it to us. He exposed it to us 1 time or 2 times or 10 times. And every time we let him know that we were not interested, not in those words, but in other words, that we weren't interested, yet he kept trying. This is when he became a fool. He wasn't a fool when he first tried. He was a fool the second time, the third time, and every time after that, because it was clear that we weren't interested the first time. Now, maybe he could have tried a different approach. Maybe that would have got one of us to open our minds, but he didn't do that. He kept trying the same approach over and over and over again. And it got to the point that I don't think he really cared about converting us to Christianity. He just wanted to, quote, win, close quote, a conversation with one of us, because he was older. He was obviously very experienced in having these type of conversations. It seemed like he was ready. He had ready-made comebacks for anything you could possibly say to him, because I'm sure we weren't the first people, nor the last people he ever did this to. He's probably out there still doing it to people to this very day. And I'm sure he's gotten punched in his face a time or two for doing it to the wrong person for too long, too often. Preaching to the choir, ladies and gentlemen. Find the people who are interested in what you're selling and sell them more and more and more stuff. Do not try to preach to people who don't want to come to church. All right, they're standing on the corner outside of the church. All right, don't go and start preaching to them. All right, you can preach to them once, and if they show that they're not interested in your sermon, all right, take your ass back in the church, stand up on that pew, and talk to the congregation. Because they're the people who want to hear it. Preaching to the choir is a smart thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Do not preach your sermon to people who ain't trying to hear it. There are some people who are listening to this right now. Maybe this is your first time listening to the show. Maybe you never heard of me before today, so you're listening to it right now and you're giving it a try. You're like, let me find out what this dude is about. And maybe you'll come back and you'll listen to another one. Maybe you'll go back into the archives and you'll listen to more. Maybe you're going to hear this and be like, no, fuck this dude. I'm not interested in him. Whatever decision you make, I'm good with. If you decide, fuck him, I'm not interested in him, let me tell you what I'm not going to do. All right, I'm not going to follow you around and try to convince you to listen to me, because obviously you're not part of my choir, so I'm not going to preach to you. Now, if you decide to come back and join the congregation and be part of the choir, I'll happily preach to you as long as I'm capable, as long as I got something to say. If you decide to go away and you decide to come back a year from now and maybe give it another shot, I'll be here. If you decide to never come back, it's all good. I'll still be here, with or without you. But I'm preaching only to the choir. If you decide to join the choir, get in. You decide to join the congregation, it's all good. If you decide to leave the congregation, guess what? We keep going. I'll tell you what I read in this book called Pimp by Iceberg Slim, who was the most famous pimp of all time. And he actually did write a book. If you didn't read this book, I suggest you read it. It's actually a pretty good book, even if you're not trying to become a pimp, which I was not, but it was a very entertaining read. He said one day he was in his car and he was a pimp, and his job was to, if you don't know what a pimp does, he, at least back in this time, I don't know how much they exist now. Actually, I could tell you another story, but I might say that for a different day, a more modern story. But back in the days of Iceberg Slim's pimping, he had all these women who basically worked for him. Their job was to go out and what they call turn tricks, which is to sell their bodies for sex to men. So men would come along, pay them, let's say $50 to have sex with them. The woman would collect the money, the $50, whatever it was. They would give it to the pimp, the guy who was in charge, Iceberg Slim, and he would dole out the money to them. He would ration them out money as necessary. And they basically worked for him. He was the guy in charge. Now, you may be wondering, if you're new to this whole concept of what pimping is, why the hell would a woman sell her body for sex? And let's just not even talk about why she's doing that. But if she did sell her body for sex, why would she take the money that she made selling her body for sex and give it to somebody else, give it to a man to control her life? Well, that's really what pimping is about. It's about controlling the minds of your women, which the pimp referred to as his hoes. Now, again, this is the language of pimp. So if you got kids listening to this and you don't want them hearing this, then I should have told you that before I said this, but that's how we do here on the show. So Iceberg Slim was telling this story. It was early in his book. One day he was riding in his car. He was driving his car and he had 3 of his hoes in the car with him because he was about to take them somewhere or drop them off somewhere. And one of his hoes was she was popping off at the mouth. All right, she was getting really smart with him. She was pissed off at him, mad at him about something, and she's cussing him out, talking shit to him in front of his other hoes because 3 women in the car and he's driving. Now, one of the concepts or the ideas of pimping, and I don't have experience in this, so I'm just explaining it as I understand it. So if there are any pimps listening to this and I don't have it perfect, you can let me know and maybe I'll have you on the show. We could talk about it in detail. But one of the things that Iceberg Slim explained was that when you're a pimp, one of the main things is you have to maintain control. You have to maintain mental control over your hoes, because once they realize, or if they ever realize that you're weak or that they can break the chains of mental control you have over them, then you can't control them anymore. They'll do anything. You got to control the hoes. So when this woman started popping off at the mouth at Iceberg Slim, especially in front of his other hoes, he knew that he couldn't allow that to happen. So she started talking all this shit about how she was going to leave him, how she was going to stop working for him, maybe go find a different pimp to work for, because this is how these women thought at that time, at least the way that she thought. Let's not say all women, but the way she thought was, I'll leave you and go find a different pimp to work for. Now, that's like one of the most disrespectful things that can happen to a pimp, is when one of your hoes leaves you and goes and works for a different pimp. That means you're pimping, you're simping and you're pimping, is what they call that. So Iceberg Slim, he wrote in the book that his thought process as soon as he heard that was, okay, I got to make sure I lay down the law right now for this hoe and for the other hoes who are in this car and for all the other hoes who are going to hear about this story after we get out the car, to make sure they understand that I am in control. So this is what Iceberg Slim said to the woman after she was talking all this shit. And this is all illustrating my point. We're still on point number 2 here. And the topic once again today is let stupid people be stupid. He said, bitch, whenever a hoe leaves me, I celebrate. I don't meditate. I don't, what's the other word? I don't contemplate. I don't feel sad. I celebrate when a hoe leaves me. You know why? Because that means another hoe could step up and take that bitch's place. Now, I'm telling you all of that to tell you this. I'm out of the story now. The reason why Iceberg Slim said what he said, and the reason why I'm sharing it with you, is that he understood the thing that this overzealous Christian guy from my block when I was growing up did not understand. That when somebody's not interested in rolling with you or whatever you're offering or whatever it is you have to share, only the idiots chase that person around and try to convert them to think differently. Iceberg Slim said, bitch, if you want to leave me, go ahead. I'll stop the car right now and you can leave. And somebody else is going to take your spot in 5 minutes. Or you can shut the fuck up and you can keep rolling with me. What you want to do? Well, I'll tell you what, I read the rest of the book. That hoe didn't leave. All right, so all of that, again, is under this idea of point number 2, preaching to the choir. He preached to his choir and told her, listen, if you don't want to be part of my congregation, get the hell out. All right, I still got a whole congregation here with or without you. So you in or you out. She stayed in that car. Let's move on to point number 3. Today's topic is let stupid people be stupid. Prove your point where it matters, not where it doesn't matter. If you are anything like me, you may at times feel the egotistical pull of wanting to put a dumb person in their place just as a matter of principle. Now, even though I'm talking about this here, I'm preaching to you about this subject right here. I'll tell you right now, I'll come clean and tell you, sometimes I fall victim to this, but I catch myself. What we talk about here, work on your game, is not about you being perfect with every single concept that gets shared and every masterclass that we do here. Is about you noticing when you're not doing it right and then doing something about it. As long as you're conscious of it, then you can do something. If you're not conscious of it, then you're going to make mistakes and not even know you're making a mistake. That's the worst place to be. But at times, any of you who finds yourself to be smart, you consider yourself to be intelligent, and you're probably smarter than many of the people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. You probably think you are. Everybody thinks they are, which is impossible. Everybody can't be smarter than everybody. But we all think we're smart, right? You may sometimes feel the pull of wanting to take a stupid person and explain to them how stupid they are by giving them a piece of your knowledge that they obviously don't have. And once you're in it, once you get into that back and forth, that Facebook comment war, that long thread, that Twitter back and forth, arguing with somebody in the comments, you don't even know who they are. And once you get into it, it's hard to get out, right? Because now your ego is involved. Now you're trying to prove a point. It's hard to think rationally when you get into that. Trust me, I know. But remember something. Proving your intelligence to a stupid person helps no one. Allow me to repeat. Proving your intelligence to a stupid person helps no one. And let me tell you why. First of all, you already know what you know. So you're not proving anything to yourself. Second of all, the dummy is not going to appreciate your intelligence. Why? Because they're a dummy. All right. They're not looking for intelligence. They were looking for it. They would already have it because they got Google, don't they? And remember something. Your point to prove may simply be the achievement of results. The only point that you really want to prove is not that you're smart and not that the stupid person is stupid, because you already knew that before the conversation began, right? If your goal is to achieve results, ask yourself this question. Is talking to this individual going to get me there or not? There's an episode of this show called Why Am I Talking to You? I don't have a number here in front of me, but if you're a member of the game group, go in the archive and it'll be in there. And once I remember, I'll put it in there so you know where it is. Your point may be to achieve results. Is talking to this individual going to get you there, or is it not? If the answer is yes, okay, keep talking to them. You don't need to prove anything to a person when you're trying to get results with them, because they're helping you just as much as you're helping them. If the answer is no, talking to this person is not going to get me what I want, all right, then you need to make adjustments. And the most basic, simple, immediate adjustment you can make is to exit the conversation. Any of you use Facebook? I have a Facebook account. I do not use it actively. But every time I log on to Facebook, I see a whole lot of people, a whole lot of complaining, talking about some situation that happened, complaining about something that's happening publicly, something that happened in their life, letting everybody know the bad news is something that happened. There's a little bit of good news sprinkled in there. And then you have the debate. Somebody says something, then a person who you don't even know leaves a comment that is maybe critical of what you said. And then there's a back and forth, and then it just goes and goes and goes and goes, and it never ends. And I'm like, what is the purpose of this? Why do this? Why get involved in this right here? And I got a whole episode coming very soon. I'm going to tell you about something that did happen one time. I was on Facebook, not because I was actively using it in that way. I was using it because I was part of a group and I was looking to do some business, and I posted something and it led to a whole long thread of back and forth between people that was completely useless. I will talk about that in a future episode. But again, the point of today's episode is let the dumb people or the stupid people be dumb or be stupid. It is not your job to change their minds. All right? You ain't got the time, you don't have the energy, and you probably don't have enough intelligence to spare to fill the gap in their minds. Okay? So let them be them. Let's recap today's topic. Point number 1. While we strive to make fewer assumptions about people, we also are on the clock. We don't have time to wait for everyone to catch up to us. We don't have time to fully discern exactly what's in a person's mind. When they show us who they are, believe them. If somebody shows you that they're not that intelligent, they show you that they're not very smart, they show you that they can't really help your cause, then sometimes you just got to take that at face value and you got to move on. You don't have time to dig beneath the surface with every individual you come across. Find somebody who shows you the right things on the surface and then dig in with them. They turn out to be the wrong person, move on, but find the people who are showing you what you need to see immediately. While you may want to help and educate everybody in some way, you can't. You cannot save everybody. Episode 855, not everybody's going to make it. Point number 2. Do not force feed knowledge on the willfully ignorant. Some people are ignorant by nature, meaning they don't know what they don't know. You can help them out because some of them will be interested once they understand that there's some knowledge that they're missing and you're willing to supply it. Other people, however, are ignorant by will. They choose to be ignorant. They don't know things and they don't want to know things. Leave them where they are. Episode 1283, you cannot save everybody. You've heard about preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir is what smart people do. You find people who are interested in what you have to offer, who are on the same wavelength as you, and you work with those people. Do not try to force people onto your wavelength if they're not interested. If someone's not interested in giving their life over to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, do not come up to them every time you see them and try to debate with them about why they're not doing it, like this idiot dude who was on a block that I grew up on. That's not going to convert anybody. Okay, go to the church if you got a sermon. All right, you want to sing in the choir, you got to show up to church. If people aren't coming to church, they're giving you a loud and clear signal that they don't want to hear the sermon. All right, don't preach to them. Point number 3, prove your point where it matters. If you're like me, maybe you sometimes feel the pull wanting to put dumb people in their place or show a stupid person just how stupid they are, just as a matter of principle, right? No, we all feel that way at times because a huge chunk of our ego is based on how intelligent we believe that we are. And that's just a human thing. Remember something. Proving intelligence to a dumb person doesn't help anybody. You already know what you know, so you're not proving anything to you. And a stupid person won't appreciate what you're sharing anyway because they're not interested in knowledge. So you giving knowledge to a dumb person is a complete waste of time. And remember something. The thing that you're after is probably results because we live in a results-based business, life called life. Will talking to a dummy get you there to producing results? If the answer is no, then you are wasting your life, trying to prove a point that does not even matter, even if you succeed in proving it. Work on your game. Dre all day. Hey, this is Dre all day. If you enjoy this mental game stuff that I talk about on video every day, then I put together a simple master class that will give you one key tip for developing what I call the bulletproof mindset. All you need to do is go to workonmygame.com/bulletproof. Is the link right here and it's down below in the video descriptions. Just click on it, take you right to the page. I'm going to give you that video. It's about 20 minutes long. This masterclass I put together. One key tip for developing a bulletproof mindset. And when you get that special masterclass free video, I'm also going to make you a special offer to get the full bulletproof mindset experience. So just go to that link that you see right here, and I'm going to show you how to develop that bulletproof mindset right now. So if you like this video that you just watched, I'm going to show you how to take it to the highest possible level. You ready for that? Let's do it.